Hello and welcome to part number 4 of the making of this little clip here. I want to talk a little bit about the light direction and the different light situations that you find on each and every set when you combine things. And I guess that you have had not your eyes on the different light areas in this section here in the clip that you just have seen. And the idea to put all these butterflies in had, of course, a reason, because I want to show you how little attention on this area here will happen in the moment we have real foreground footage in it, an actor or just a bunch of butterflies. So in this clip, we can see that we have here even a different light situation all over the place. Darker here than the shiny areas there. It's a little bit bluish. That depends, of course, on the color correction. And we have here a very warm tone, comes from the sun, the reflections. And of course, we have a long shadow here where the buildings are much higher. And then we have here sun coming through that little alley here. Here we will talk about the light direction. And let's switch over to something that I have prepared for this. Here we can see from Sunseeker. It's an application that you can have on your iPad. Sunseeker gives me here the location where I have shot. Here was pretty much the Steadicam from this point moving towards this point. And this is pretty much the sun direction on that specific day. I was there pretty early. My point was here to evaluate where was the sun, from which direction, at which time, because I knew the time and I knew the date. So then I could go here just to the next place, and this is here. And let's switch over first to some images. As you can see here on this picture, this is pretty much the alley that I have shown you right now. It has a different floor material. The shadows are pretty dark here. And of course, when the material changes, it becomes different here. We can see the light direction. This point here is this point there. And that was, of course, on purpose, but not really wanted. I wanted to have longer shadows, of course. But based on the height of the buildings, there was nothing higher behind. So it stops here. And of course, this is not the morning sun. And I will show you that when I go back to this picture here. And here we are in that alley. Here was my point of view, and here my point of interest roughly. And the idea was, of course, to get the light situation pretty much in the way we had it in the morning. But the alley in Pasadena was more in this direction here, and I was shooting in this direction, and this time I go here in this direction with the camera. So completely different setup. That means 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. wouldn't be a good fit. So I had to find out which time we have a similar sun idea. That means the sun is, of course, then higher at 2 p.m. or something like that, like here, where I have set up the whole scene. So we get these shadows here. And of course, they were not so long because the buildings behind this area here are also not very high. I have shot, of course, more images here, details and something where I thought maybe I can use it later. And then I had this picture here, and you can see here clearly the shadow goes from the left upper to the right lower area. Exactly the opposite in the way I needed it. So I had to flip the whole picture. Thanks for listening. See you in the next part.